WKYT this morning on the air at 4:30. Hillary Clinton will be back in Kentucky today, campaigning ahead of tomorrow's primary. We'll have where her stops are just ahead this morning.
Thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. to honor the nation's fallen officers. We'll show you how 6 Kentucky men were honored coming up.
And a Kentucky family is racing against the clock to adopt another child. How the family found the sister of one of their daughters. Ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and welcome in on your Monday. It is May 16th and we hope you had a great weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain. And when you stepped outside the door this morning, it is chilly.
It is definitely that. Yes. No doubt about it. And, you know, at least it hasn't been storming the last little bit, right? Let's keep that in mind. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we saw that frost advisory in effect, not for everybody, but for most central, northern, eastern, and southeastern zones. That goes into effect until 9 a.m. So just keep in mind that it's going to be a little bit chilly once you step out the door early this morning. Clouds are on the increase. That's actually going to help us out before the sun rises because you should get those clouds over you. It acts as a blanket over you, so that's going to help us out. 62 degrees, night rain. So much of your day is going to be mainly dry. We get into the night and into tomorrow, that's when a lot of rain moves on in. And how long does that rain stick around? Well, I'm going to show you that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then. Let's get to the news.
With Kentucky's primary just a day away, the Democratic presidential candidates are working hard to sway voters.
And on the Republican side, Donald Trump went to war with the media on Twitter. CBS's Brooke Silva-Braga is in New York with the latest on the campaign.
Hillary Clinton crisscrossed Kentucky Sunday, promising to bring back manufacturing jobs and revealing Bill Clinton's possible role in her administration.
My husband, who I'm going to put in charge of revitalizing the economy, because, you know, he knows how to do it.
Bernie Sanders also held a rally in Kentucky, arguing that polls show he's best positioned to win in November.
We do much better against Trump than does Secretary Clinton.
Donald Trump attended his daughter Tiffany's graduation from the University of Pennsylvania. Vice President Joe Biden was there too to see his granddaughter graduate. Just a couple dozen seats separated them. Trump had earlier responded to reports accusing him of mistreating women and posing as his own spokesman with a tweet. "The media is really on a witch hunt against me, false reporting and plenty of it, but we will prevail." RNC Chairman Reince Priebus said Trump is immune to the types of criticism that hurt traditional politicians, and Republican efforts to draft an independent candidate are pointless.
What people should do is take the Paul Ryan approach, which is to work with Donald Trump and find out whether or not there's common ground.
Speaker Ryan's staff will meet with Mr. Trump's later this week to discuss policy and efforts to unite the party. Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News, New York.
Former Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear joined Hillary Clinton on the stage in Fort Mitchell yesterday. Before introducing her, Beshear criticized Trump's foreign policy credentials. Last week, Beshear announced that he was endorsing Clinton for president. She will make 2 more stops in western Kentucky today and head to Lexington for a rally tonight. She'll be holding that event on the Transylvania University campus. The polls in Kentucky will open at 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. We'll have all your Kentucky primary election day coverage today and tomorrow on WKYT. As the Democrats get ready for the primary, the Republicans are looking ahead to their national convention. Our partners of the Herald Leader report Kentucky's delegates have picked Senator Mitch McConnell and Governor Matt Bevin as co-chairman for the state's delegation. The pair will lead 46 delegates and 43 alternates to Cleveland for the July convention.
State police are investigating a crash that killed a Winchester teen. Troopers say around 8 yesterday morning, 19-year-old Alexis Thompson lost control on Clintonville Road in Bourbon County. Her car went off the road, hit a fence, and came to a stop in a driveway. Troopers say Thompson died at the scene. They believe her fatal injuries were caused by pieces of the wooden fence that came through her windshield. State police do not know yet why Thompson lost control. 5 people are in jail after an armed robbery in Perry County. State police say late Saturday, 3 men and 2 women broke into Mike's Game Room on South Kentucky Highway 15 in Scuddy. Troopers say the group attacked Otis and Vicky Combs and robbed 2 others at gunpoint. Crews rushed Otis to Pikeville Medical Center in critical condition. All 5 men and women face assault and robbery charges. We have not received any updates on Otis Combs' condition. National Police Week is coming to an end in Washington, D.C., and yesterday, thousands filled the area around the U.S. Capitol for a special memorial service.
And they added the names of 252 fallen officers to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this week. 6 of those names belong to men from Kentucky. WKYT Sean Moody was in Washington, D.C. to show us how those officers are being remembered.
As the day dawned over the U.S. Capitol this morning, thousands of officers from around the world gathered on the West Lawn. Then the families of officers killed in the line of duty walked in. This year, 6 of the 126 names on that terrible list belong to Kentuckians.
With every name on that wall comes a story of service, a story of bravery, and ultimately a story of heartbreaking loss.
Officer Daniel Ellis, Officer Burke Rhodes, Lieutenant Clifford Travis, and Troopers Eric Krisman, Blake Tribby, and Cameron Ponder all had their names engraved on the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this year. Family members left flowers on a memorial wreath. And for the family of Officer Ellis and the entire police community, a special moment. That's Officer Ellis's cousin, Hannah. She wrote Officer down as a tribute to him, but said it could really apply to any police family. One of the speakers, Representative Steny Hoyer, said it's up to the entire police community to look after the families of fallen officers.
We're there for you. They dedicated their lives to the work of watching over us. Now it is for us to watch over those they have left behind.
As fellow officers and family members remember those who have died in the line of duty, the president of the Fraternal Order of Police called for lawmakers here inside the Capitol to pass laws he says would protect officers.
And I'm asking Congress to take up the issue of violence against police by including law enforcement officers in the hate crime legislation.
Everyone here was hoping for a day when people wouldn't have to write songs about fallen police officers anymore. In Washington, D.C., Sean Moody, WKYT.
And several Richmond police officers were there in Washington honoring Officer Daniel Ellis. Berea Police, EKU Police, and Madison County Sheriff's deputies covered their patrol shifts. Back here in Kentucky, a group of women are showing their support for local law enforcement. Wives Behind the Blue Line put together a fundraiser last night at the Fazoli's on Houstonville Road in Danville. That restaurant donated 20% of its sales to the organization.
Today is National Peace Officer Memorial Day. And as a police wife, we hear a lot of people say, what can I do to show my appreciation? So we just thought this would be a good opportunity to invite the community to come out, meet the officers.
Officers from several agencies helped serve food to the customers.
A Central Kentucky family is racing against the clock to adopt another child. The Lumpkins family in Georgetown adopted their daughter Aubrey from China in 2013. Just recently, the family found Aubrey's sister, and now they're trying to reunite them. WKYT's Caitlin Sinner talked to the family.
Lisa Lumpkins and her husband Gene had 2 children, a son Blake and then daughter Madison. But she didn't have the easiest of pregnancies, and adoption was something she's wanted since she was a young girl.
2008 was our first adoption, then 2010, 2013, 2014.
Maya was their first adoption.
And then Noah was just heaven sent. He was just a miracle baby.
They're going to want to have a race with me and you, buddy.
They wanted another little boy, but Aubrey caught Lisa's attention.
Then he watched her video and he's like, yeah, she's meant to be in our family. And
yeah, she was only 50 pounds at 9 years old.
Yeah.
Over there.
And after Aubrey came Carter.
We were kind of complete, but then Lisa seen the picture.
It was on Facebook. Lisa saw a picture that she promised could be Aubrey's sister. It turns out Avery is Aubrey's sister, and she's still at the same orphanage Aubrey lived in until age 9. But soon she'll be a part of the Lumpkin family.
I was like smiling and shouting and dancing.
Aubrey is just elated. She's already making space in her bedroom for her sister to come home.
Baby, this Avery saying that's my side.
Aubrey is excited to teach her sister English and share all of her toys. But this adoption means the girls will outnumber the boys in the home, something brother Noah isn't so sure about.
And she said, how do you feel about more sisters? And he goes, well, it's pretty cool. It'll be fun. She said, but would you trade them for boys? And he goes, maybe.
Avery will join her sister this summer. In Scott County, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Lisa Lumpkins has a gut feeling the girls are twins, not just sisters. She says Avery has to be here before her birthday this fall or the adoption will not happen. In China, a child has to be adopted before the age of 14. What an incredible story.
It really is, and sounds like a reunion is possibly in the making.
Yes, I hope that happens.
Time this morning is coming up on 4:41. So good to have you with us on WKYT this morning.
This one will make you stand up, right? Is your teen's posture getting worse? It could be due to too much texting. Moms Every Day will tell us why when we come back on WKYT This Morning.
Chilly conditions out there early this morning as we go through your work week. It does get better with temperatures, but some rain moves on in. I'm going to show you exactly when I expect that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have that frost advisory in effect through 9 a.m. and that doesn't go for everybody. That goes for most locations, though. Central, north, east, and southeastern zones. That is your best bet. If you work your way back toward, say, Taylor County, Marion County, Springfield there in Washington County, those are areas, and even places down toward Adair and Russell County, those are areas that you are not under that frost advisory. Reason being, here comes some clouds that'll roll over you, and that'll act as a blanket over you. But it's going to take some time to get to the north and the east. So just keep in mind, if you have not put anything over those plants that maybe you have planted the past few days, few weeks, you can go ahead and do that. Temperatures are not there just yet. 42 degrees now in Lexington, and we're at 41 there in Richmond. You go down south and southeast, there are some spots, especially the valley regions, that you're actually dealing with some of that frost. But for the most part, we're still in the 40s as of right now. We drive through the day, and when you drive through the day, you're going to be seeing clouds on the increase, right around 62 degrees later on this afternoon, so it's definitely not warm. But at least we're not dealing with any rain during the daylight hours. We head towards your afternoon and evening, and look, those clouds continue to be on the increase. And then finally some rain moves on in overnight and into tomorrow morning. And that's going to bring us, once again, another shot at some much cooler conditions. A couple more days of that, upper 50s, lower 60s for most. I believe tomorrow we'll actually see in the southern zone 70s, northern zones 50s. There's going to be a big temperature swing. And it looks like that rain tonight into tomorrow will just be on the increase all throughout your day tomorrow. So here's your 7-day forecast, what you can expect. And temperatures will be there in the 60s the next few days. We'll only have a morning chance of rain on Wednesday. Thursday looks pretty good. Friday and Saturday are your wet days too. So really, if you look at the big picture here with this 7-day forecast, it looks like most of your days will actually be dry as opposed to wet. So this isn't a very wet pattern in store. We'll have a majority of the rain move into tomorrow and then Friday and Saturday. So other than that, guys, actually it looks pretty good.
It does. We'll enjoy that. A little been nippy the last couple of days, you know.
Man. Absolutely.
But you can't complain about that sunshine, huh?
There you go.
4:46 right now. Text neck is a painful condition. It results from too much time spent staring down at electronics.
And it's affecting more and more young people. Here's more on text neck in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
Hi, today we're with Dr. Bailey Nye. We're at Project Wellness Company, and we're talking about text neck.
Yes.
That you're seeing more signs of this these days.
Yeah, especially in your teenagers, because they are spending a lot of time texting on their phone or looking down at their electronics. It's definitely causing a lot of severe conditions because it expedites the degenerative process. So it actually contributes to their bodies aging at a quicker rate, which can have a lot of effects on their muscles, their nervous system, and their body.
Wow, it's so frightening. So how would a mom know that this is happening?
The biggest thing is just look at your child posturally. If you notice that their head is kind of out front of their body, that's a really good sign that that might already be in process. As a physician, usually what we look at is we look to make sure that their ear canal is directly over top of their shoulder, over their hip and knee, so it's nice and in a line. But if there's any discrepancies in that, it could be signs of that early degeneration.
And what should you do? What can you do about it if you do notice something like that?
If you do notice something like that, I mean, the chiropractor is a great place to go. By looking at their posture, we can actually adjust the spine back into the proper position and help them actually re-educate their posture as well.
Great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For these tips and more, just go to WKYT.com and click on Moms Every Day.
And you'll also find the latest news and, of course, the updated weather forecast right there as well. Good to have you with us. A lot more news coming up on your Monday morning here on WKYT.
A Boyle County man has been missing for nearly a year now. We'll hear from family members of the missing man when we come back on WKYT. Hey there, welcome back to WKYT this morning. Your time is 4:51. He was last seen nearly 1 year ago, and last night the family of a Boyle County man got together to remember him.
38-year-old Michael Gorley disappeared on May 17, 2015 after leaving a home near Junction City. WKYT's Hillary Thornton talked to Gorley's family.
For Sandra Hasty, this weekend holds a painful memory.
Today is just a day that, that I last saw my child.
Marking 1 year since she last saw her son Michael Gorley. On Sunday, family members lighting candles, spending time in prayer.
We're all here with broken hearts, God.
Comforting one another as they continue on without their loved one.
It's been very horrendous. I have nightmares all the time. I wake up thinking my son's in the house, go through the house looking for him.
An extremely difficult year filled with heartache and still no official answers to what happened to the 38-year-old the night he was last seen at a friend's house.
We actually know what happened. It's just that proving it's another thing. My son has been murdered, and we know it.
Even though the vigil out here Sunday evening, marking 1 year since Hasty last saw her son, she says she is determined to get justice for him.
We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We're going to continue until this is done. I won't stop. I will not stop.
In Boyle County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
And a $3,000 reward is being offered for information leading to Gorley.
We've learned new details about radioactive waste illegally dumped at a landfill in Estill County. The Courier-Journal reports follow-up tests at a West Virginia company that sent their fracking waste to Kentucky show the company had material that was so hot it needed to go to a special landfill. The original shipments to Estill County were said to have been below the radioactivity threshold, but investigators aren't sure what the radioactive intensity of the waste was. Reports show the West Virginia company also sent radioactive waste to a landfill in Greenup County.
A lot of folks concerned about that, certainly in that area.
As they should be, yes.
More answers. The time this morning is 4:53. A chilly start to your Monday morning. Coming right up, a look at some of the news stories we're working on for you this morning.
And we'll have another look at your morning forecast coming up.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning, 4:56 on your Monday.
Now it's time to take a look at some of the stories we're working on this morning.
Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton is back in Kentucky. Today, she will be making stops in western Kentucky and in Lexington this evening. We'll have the details on Clinton's visit coming up in the next half hour of WKYT this morning.
And the primaries tomorrow. It's finally here, right?
Yeah, a lot of talk ahead of it, right? Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on those polls being open. Be a little nicer tomorrow, it sounds like, in terms of the temperature. I think we're also going to have some maybe rain moving in. Let's check in with Micah.
Yeah, it looks like the best bet is tomorrow for that rain, but like you were talking about, those temperatures do gradually increase as we go throughout your week. We're looking at the 30s and 40s early this morning. Clouds are moving overhead. That will help us out as we go through the day and to keep our temperatures at bay once those clouds move overhead. So that'll help us out with the frosty start. By the afternoon, we're at 62 degrees with that mixture of sun and clouds. Mainly dry conditions today, but it's tonight into tomorrow that rain moves on in. And I'll show you where the rain looks to be at its best or at its most widespread coming up with another 2 hours. WKYT News.